Welcome back. Back in Unit 2, we set up equations that were linear, and we're coming back to linear, as you saw from the warm-up video. And if you remember, we originally learned it with slope-intercept, and then we changed to point-slope. And remember, this was our slope, m, and our point was our y1 and our x1. We're going to use that similar equation, but instead, we're going to bring this y1 to the other side. So we have a y equals. So this is still our slope, and this is our point. It's very similar to what we did for quadratics, our hk. Just now, we can use any point as our hk. So what we're going to do today is sum together just some lines. So our first thing we're going to do is find our slope. So I'm picking this one, and I'm going to find another one that's exactly on right here. So I went up 3, 6. Notice it's not counting by ones, and I went across 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's going to be 3 over 25 x. Now, pick any point. I could pick this point right here. I could pick this point. It doesn't matter. I'm going to pick this one, and this is going to be my HK, 25, 9. So I'm going to do minus 25 plus 9. I could have done this one, which was at 0, 3, and I could have said x minus 0 plus 3. They both work. Okay, let's look at number 2 and try it again. So y equals, our first step is to find our slope. Here's 2 points that work. So I am going up, this one's counting by ones, over 1, 2, 3, 4, back 4. So it's going to be up 1, back 4, x. Pick one of these points. I picked this one. It doesn't really matter. This point is at 1, 1. So I know it's minus 1 plus 1. There's going to be multiple answers here. Okay, let's look at the next one. Number 3. I'm looking for, I've got a point here. No. Yes, and here. This one's counting by ones again. 1, 2, 3, up 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's y equals, there's my slope. That's my m. Now just fill in your hk. Pick one of these 2 points. I picked this one. 1, negative 2, minus 1, minus 2. This is my hk. Okay, looking at the last one. Number 4, like this. There's a point here. I'm looking for another point, a point down here. Down, I notice this one's counting by 7s. Down 7, down 14, down 21, over, going across is counting by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16. So y equals down 21 over 16. Now pick one of your points. I picked this one, which was 16, negative 28. And so it's minus 16, minus 28. So that should be a review from Unit 2 back earlier in the year. Okay, why is this important? Because when we come to some others, we're just going to do 2 more, 5 and 6. This is called a piecewise. It's made up of 2 lines. So I need to have 2 different equations. So I'm going to do the first equation here. Y equals, okay, let's go find. Here's a point. Here's a point. 1, 2, 3, back 1. 3, 1, negative 1. And you can change it to negative 3. That's my slope. X, pick one of these points. I picked this one. This point is at 0, 1. So minus nothing, you can write it in, plus 1. Here's the difference. This line doesn't last the whole time. It only lasts from, and I'm looking from, I'm going to say negative 1.5. That's where it starts, and it stops at 1. So I have to say from, when does this line work? from negative 1.5 all the way, stops going across at 1. So at 1, we're going to start a new line. Okay, so now we start our next one. Y equals, I'm going to pick this point and that point. Up 2 over 2. So that's the same thing as 1. That's our slope. I'm going to pick this point right here, which is at 1, negative 2. I could have picked this one. I always usually like the first one, reading from left to right, but it doesn't matter, which would be x minus 1 minus 2. When does this happen? This starts at 1, okay, and it stops right here at 5. And so it stops at 5, from 1 to 5. Notice, important thing to notice, I have to pick this one right here. It can either go with this line or this line, not both. I picked it to go with the second line. You could have picked it to go make this the equal to, then this wouldn't be equal to. So it's just taking what we did at the top and doing it twice. The only difference now is we have to say what's the domain, from when to when does this work? Okay, let's try number 6. So we have 3 lines. So we're going to have 3 equations. Y equals, let's go do the first one. Okay, so up 2 over 1. So up 2 over 1 or 2. X, I'm picking this point, which is at negative 2, 1. Negative 2, negative 1, so it's going to be minus a negative, which becomes positive 2, minus 1. From when to when? You have to say from when to when. This starts here, it looks like at 4.5, negative 4.5. I'm just looking at the x's. So 4.5, at 4, at 3, and it stops at negative 2. And there's a dot there, which tells me that's going to be my equal to. Okay, let's go to this line. Y equals, there is no slope, there's no rise or run. So we don't have to have this, which means we won't have an x because it's like saying 0. So just say what the flat line is. It's down 1, 2, 3. Down negative 3. Every time the answer is negative 3. When does this happen? Starts at negative 2, ends at 3. Notice, see how they're open circles? So I just want less thans. Okay, last one here. Y equals, look at this line. Here's my down 1 over 1, 2, 3. Down 1 over 3, x, pick the point. I'm going to pick this point. It doesn't really matter, or I could have picked this one. Sure, let's pick this one. That was at 3, 0. So that's just minus 3. You don't have to say the plus 0. You could. If you want, you can say it. You don't have to. When does this happen, from when to when? Starts at 3, but it's an open circle. So no line underneath. Ends at, we're going to say ends at 6. Okay, so it's the same thing as above, but now we just do multiple equations. That's why it's called a piecewise. This is going to have 2 equations because it's 2 pieces. This has 3. Now it's your turn to do some.